There's something else going on I want to talk about before I turn in for the night. Today, and I did a video where I talked about the news of the day, right? Captains: Nathan MacKinnon, Alex Ovechkin, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid. The four most popular names in hockey. These are the four most popular names in the game. So everybody wants to focus on Matthews. Matthews doesn't belong in there. Matthews doesn't belong in there. Why is Matthews in there? Okay, well, first off, Toronto Maple Leaf fans are the largest fan base in the NHL. So if you haven't figured it out by now, you're not going to be a happy hockey fan quite often when we have votes like this. Austin Matthews this year has played 23 games. He has 19 goals, 15 assists for 34 points. He's been fantastic. The only reason his stats aren't among the league leaders is because he missed about a dozen games due to injury. Now, you can try to argue that he doesn't belong there because of the injury, but that's just crazy because Matthews belongs in the All-Star game. Austin Matthews belongs there. I have no problem with Austin Matthews being in the All-Star game. I don't even have a problem with him being captain because, again, it's a popularity contest. That's why I didn't vote in the first place. It's a popularity contest. That's why you've got MacKinnon, Ovechkin, McDavid, and Matthews. Are these the four best players in the divisions? No. They aren't. Could we come up with four better guys? Yep. Absolutely we could. But this is how fan voting works. It's the popularity. It's not who's most deserving. This is why. And, I thought the John Scott thing ended up being a lot of fun at the end of it too. But it did reveal a problem. You will have a mob mentality in terms of who to vote for in something such as, for instance, what we're witnessing now. With, okay, All-Star time. Who's going to get it? Well, could be Matthews. Because Matthews reasons. And then people are going to rage about it. I honestly, and I know, there are a lot of reasons to be upset with the amount of Leaf coverage when you're in Canada, and I get it. Part of the reason this channel exists is for that reason. But I think it's misplaced here because Austin Matthews has been one of the best players in the league when he's been healthy. And he is going to be a captain for the Leafs, and he looks like a guy who's going to score 500 goals in this game. Good health pending, of course. That's the big thing for him. But it's not a matter of whether or not he's good. He's always good. He's Matthews. It's a matter of whether or not he's going to be healthy the full season. But yeah, All-Star time. And you know what's funny is Austin Matthews in an interview today brings up an interesting point. There will be a lot of guys who belong at the All-Star game who don't make it because of the format. This has always been my problem with it, and I know I'm in the minority on this. I don't think every team deserves a participation medal. I think your best players in the National Hockey League should play in the All-Star game. And if a team hasn't, let's just say Vancouver hasn't got a single guy who belongs in the All-Star game. I think they do. But let's just say, for argument's sake, and because, we're pointing out a team I cheer for, let's just say that Vancouver shouldn't be in the All-Star, shouldn't have an All-Star. Okie dokie. I'm fine with that. If keeping Pettersson out of the All-Star game means Rantanen gets to go on it, they're in totally different divisions, that's why I'm using it as an example. But if it means Rantanen gets to go, good. If the better player gets to go, fine. It is something that I've always kind of thought was weird. It reeks of participation medals. I know what happens in other sports, but we're at an All-Star game now where there are a lot of guys who belong in the All-Star game who don't go. So if you want to get upset, wait, because the NHL will announce its rosters for the All-Star game. That's when you should get outraged. This announcement that Matthews is captain, you know what? He was going to the All-Star game anyways. You look at last year, the one that I couldn't understand was James Neal for Vegas because Neal had already started slowing down. I could not understand why Neal was going, but he was a name for a team in Vegas that kind of had a lot of nameless guys at the time. So it was like, okay, so Neal's going there because of his name. Not because of how he'd been playing at the time up till the All-Star break. But James Neal, known guy. You've got to have a Golden Knight there. And it's a weird thing in the NHL, and I don't agree with it. But there you go. don't get mad about Matthews being voted in, because Toronto fans will always vote en masse. And if you allowed the entire All-Star team to be voted in, you'd see a lot of Maple Leafs in there. You would. If the ballot allowed for it, you would see a lot of Maple Leafs voted in, because they're the largest portion of hockey fans there is. That's just reality. It's so weird to me that people get so upset about it. And especially when and here's the problem, if you get upset all the time when it comes to anything Leaf related, kind of makes you look crazy, and it means that when there's a legitimate reason to look and go, they're talking about what size socks Matthews wears? What in the world? Then, and that's a moment where you can look and go, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous in its reporting. That's where you can do it. But the problem is, we have so many instances where people just get outraged by anything Toronto related that when it's well-founded, people just don't listen. They're like, oh, you're always complaining about Toronto. Yeah, you're always complaining about Toronto. And in this case, Matthews, I 100% agree with him. I agree with the vote. Because when Matthews is healthy, he's one of the best forwards in the league. And in an all-star game, he is always going to produce highlight reel moments. Now, I believe Besser, Pettersson, and Horvat can do that for Vancouver too. Horvat did it a couple years ago. Besser did it last year. My guess is Pettersson does it this year. But again, if them being out means that somebody else who belongs there more than they do gets in, I'm perfectly fine with that. But again, I know that's an unpopular opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. And yes, it's a popularity contest. It's just the way it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.